First, the other well-known Trump son from the Trump organization, Eric Trump. Your big night is tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, right before the president.
I don't know. Topping your wife might be hard. She gave a great speech last night.
She's the best. She's the best. She's a great mother. She's a great auditor. She's elegant. She's beautiful. She's everything that the Republican Party should be.
It was kind
I'm her
of cool.
biggest cheerleader.
All right, so I have known both of you for a long time, and you don't know this, but they keep cutting away to you, and you're like a beaming, proud husband, dad, standing there and smiling, happy for her.
Listen, Sean, it's not easy, right? I mean, first of all, it's a big family.
By the way, it's not easy if your last name's Trump. You may want to consider changing it.
By the way, 100%.
Kidding.
You do this every day, and you understand it. But getting on top of, getting on that stage in front of 15, 20,000 people in here, but tens and tens of millions of people around the country, it's not easy. But she went out there, and she did so with such great poise and grace and beauty. And the message was beautiful. I mean, coming into the Trump family, talking about a man that she got to know later on in life, and it was, and how well he welcomed her into that family. It was a beautiful speech.
Well, I know because I've seen it, and I've tried to watch him at times persuade your wife to do things, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, which is a lot of fun. On a serious note, more and more details are emerging as it relates to this assassination attempt, and it is such a monumental failure that it's hard for me to comprehend. What many people may not know about you is you are a real marksman. You make your own guns. You manufacture them. You build them. You bore them. You do the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I did a lot of competitive long-range rifle shooting, a lot of competitive shotgun shooting, a lot of pistol stuff, and it was just, a world that I grew up in, and I know that world as well as anybody. A shot at 130 yards with a precision rifle is a joke shot, and ask anybody who understands marksmanship, ask anybody who's serious into rifles, he should not be here today. And it was incompetence, and I do not blame the people on that stage. The people on that stage were incredible. They jumped on him, and they almost died because of the incompetence of whoever did the advance on the site and whoever allowed a madman onto a roof at 130 yards with a rifle. We almost changed democracy forever. We almost changed the trajectory of this country forever. We almost had a former president murdered. We almost had a future president murdered, and that was live streaming on every TV around the world. It was on Fox, it was on CNN, it was on every single network. America would have lost one of the most iconic political figures in its history, live streaming on TV based on the incompetence of somebody that allowed a madman on a roof with a rifle, and it's not acceptable. And then you hear the Secret Service director come out and say, oh yes, the roof had a pitch to it. The roof was like this. The roof was practically flat. It was nonsense. The roof that the other snipers were on had more of a pitch on it. I
used to be in construction. To do roofing, you got to stand on a roof.
Yeah, that's about a 3% pitch on that roof, right? I mean, give me a break. It's a joke. Then you have Joe Biden come out and say, yes, I spoke to the Secret Service director. I spoke to him. The only problem is the Secret Service director isn't a him, it's a her. He didn't even know who the hell he spoke to. It's an outrage. And then they started trying to blame the local PD. And it's coming out now, the local PD was assigned to traffic patrol. And you know what? I don't care. The reality is my children sat on my lap and almost saw their grandfather get executed. I sat there watching my father on the ground, bleeding from his ear, not knowing if he had taken shots to the head. Obviously, I saw one that went to the head, thinking the worst. Not knowing if he had taken shots to the chest. Not knowing if the man was even alive. And then these are the lies they spoon-feed you. Third, I know I'm on fire right now, but I don't trust the FBI to get to the bottom of it. They've lied about the Russia hoax. They lied about dirty dossiers. That was held over my head for a 3-year period of time.
You lied to a FISA court 4 times to spy on your father.
And no one in this country believes that they will conduct an honest investigation, and that breaks my heart to say, because the men and women that carry the guns in that organization are some of the greatest people that we have in this country. So I'm pissed off. It's incompetence that almost put him in the grave. It's incompetence that almost changed our country in history. And this should never, ever happen again. She should resign in disgrace. And by the way, one last thing. I'll end with this. I wish to God the family would actually get a call saying, you know what, we know it was a big lapse in security, and here are the 10 things we're going to do about it. As an executive, that's what I would do if I screwed the pooch on something that happened in my company. But they don't have the fortitude to do that. It's going to be the blame game, and they're not going to do a damn thing about this.
All these families, your dad ran on immigration starting when he came down the escalator and was attacked for it. All these people, a 12-year-old girl raped and a 13-year-old girl raped in broad daylight in New York. Joe Biden never called that family, didn't call the family of that 12-year-old girl. Didn't call your family, didn't call the family of the mother of five. He goes on stage, State of the Union. It's not Lincoln Riley, it's Laken Riley. You're right. It's a her, not a him, that's running the Secret Service. What frustrates me is the more that we know is they had identified this guy as a real threat, but why did they allow your father to take the stage? Okay, let's say the pitch story on the roof is fine. Why didn't they have sniper sights on that roof? Why would they have people inside the building and not surrounding the perimeter? The guy took a ladder with a rifle and got on the roof 130 yards away, Eric.
You know what, the problem is Americans' trusts are shattered because, okay, say a 500-yard shot with a person who knows how to operate a rifle is not a very far shot, right? I mean, that's still a chip shot. If they're not covering a building at 130 yards, you think they're focused on a building 500 yards away? The problem is it makes me lose faith in the entire perimeter of what's going on. And I love the agents on that stage. I know every one of their names. And
I hear they're trying, behind the scenes, I have sources in the Secret Service, they're trying to blame those guys.
Now,
have you heard that?
They will never, ever, ever get away with that. They will never. Those people jumped on him. Those people had the counter snipers not fired back. Those people all would have been full of bullet holes.
Who was in charge of advance, though? Because the head of the Secret Service, Kim Cheadle, admitted that they had identified that building as a potential threat, but the pitch of the roof caused them to put the agents inside.
It was a flat-out lie. Sean, that is a flat-out lie because the roof that the other snipers were on was steeper than this. Give me a break.
Why didn't they have eyes on it? Why didn't they have a scope on it?
I know the CS guys, and they're the finest shooters in the country. They're amazing people. I know them. Some of these guys are my personal friends to this day. These are some guys who are in the best shape. Trust me, they're not going to have a problem walking up a roof like this. It's BS. But everything that the Biden administration tells us is nonsense. It's always lies. There's never accountability. It's the problem with government. In private industry, somebody would get fired for this nonsense. My father almost lost his head. Thank God. It was divine intervention that he didn't. But there needs to be real inward reflection because you know what? I don't care if this is a Republican. I don't care if it's Democratic. I don't care if it's an independent. We have to protect our leaders of this country. If our leaders start getting assassinated by lunatic 20-year-olds in this country, we'll go down as a third world nation. We'll become the laughingstock of the world. And last but not least, civil wars have been started in countries for less than this. We can't. Could you imagine what would happen in this country? Could you imagine if anybody suspected that there was any funny business or even if there was any notion of that, which I clearly don't. But, I mean, Sean, what that could do to democracy, the love in this, you can't have it happen. Our elected leaders cannot be assassinated.
We have the ability to protect them. This is a monumental failure. Let me turn to another topic. Okay, the full-on effort to dump and destroy Joe Biden is in play. Hakeem Jeffries, Chucky Schumer, they're making phone calls. They want him out big time. You see the pressure now. They're trying to delay the nomination of Joe Biden, which was supposed to be done virtually. They're going to push it to July into August and try and prevent him from getting that nomination. Your father doesn't know who he's running against tonight.
He doesn't.
By the way, early voting starts in 62 days in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, go figure. Go figure. No, he doesn't know who he's going to run against, and it could be Biden, and you could have this kind of old man stubbornness, or it could be somebody completely different. You really have no idea. What was most telling to me, though, that no one ever wants to talk about is the second that Biden came off the debate stage, universally, every single nation, every single network started attacking him using the exact same lines. It's almost like it was coordinated, and he did a horrible job, right? I mean, he was a total embarrassment. But when he came off that stage, they started hitting him instantaneous. Every single network that had laid cover for him for years and years and years, in one instant turned on him. Yeah. Don't believe that wasn't coordinated, Sean. Again, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but you better believe that was orchestrated in the background. This massive reversion from being kind of the puppet masters of Joe Biden to turning overnight, thinking that they could create so much of a political pressure, so much infighting, and so much of a tide that he was forced to resign.
It's so sad to me is I've never been as concerned about the direction of our country. I think we're at an inflection point, or the direction of the world. I believe this incident where your father was nearly assassinated, and you have to explain it to your children. You have to explain it to your younger brother, Barron. I heard he had a hard time with this. Of course he would. Of course your children would have a hard time. Of course you would have a hard time. Very understandable. And then it's preventable. The 11 million unvetted Joe Biden illegal immigrants that are the criminals that are amongst them, those with terror ties that we have caught, coming from countries with terror ties, coming from top geopolitical foes, all preventable. The Biden economy didn't have to be like this, Eric. Energy, we could be paying a lot less at the pump. Inflation doesn't have to be this high. America's standing in the world,
of course,
can be reestablished. That's what seems to be on the line.
My father almost lost his head that night. But he's one person. How about the 300,000 people that die, children, kids, teenager, youth that die in this country every year based on fentanyl because you have an administration that does not want to do a damn thing about it. They don't want to close the border. They don't want to put pressure on China. They don't want to do anything about the cartels that are bringing it over. 300,000 kids that are dying every year. Yep. We've got real holes in our roof in this country, and you've got to fix them. You've got to fix the economy. You've got to fix respect around the world. You've got to fix interest rates. Houses are unaffordable. Kids come out of college, they get a job, they have no chance of buying a house, no chance. Inflation's caused everything to be so damn expensive. Interest rates have caused, mortgages to be unattainable for people. The border's a mess. Our world standing's a mess. There's wars everywhere. The Middle East is a mess. We got to get back to the basics. We've got to fix our country. And that's why you have this kind of reaction right behind me right now. That's why you have this kind of love.
Electric out there.
It is electric.
It's been tough. Your family's been through hell. You personally have been a part of it, and it's very interesting. I sense in this country, enough's enough. The country's had it. Eric, great. You have a tough act to follow. Your wife did a really good job last night, so you got to get your
Sean, we're a very competitive family, so tune in tomorrow night. And
the Trumps are competitive. I have no idea.
When you speak from the heart about a person that you love to death, a person that's changed your life in so many ways, but a person that you know better than any other person on earth, it actually becomes a very easy speech to give. I don't care if it's in front of 50 million, 60 million people. It'll be Super Bowl numbers. It becomes very easy when you talk from the heart about somebody that you adore, and I adore my father. He's the greatest man in the world, and I think he'll go down in history, especially after what's happened, as truly among
I've known your dad for 30 years
to ever live.
On a personal level, when he got up and he saw the blood, I thought he got hit in the head. And I thought I lost a friend, too, because I interview him professionally, but I've known him. You don't remember, I said this to your brother last night. Every time I'd interview him at Trump Tower, he'd walk me back to see you and Don and Ivanka. You don't remember that, do you?
I remember those days very well.
Oh, you do remember. All right, good. Eric, good to see you. We'll be watching tomorrow night. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.